striking the ball, being aggressive? Is it really, do you feel, just a matter of being able to be fit and play your game and these results are coming, or is there something more to it than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've definitely improved in some different physical areas, and I think putting together some of those physical improvements and allowing myself to do some things technically more sound, I think has been really helpful. So the physical work that I put into my my day-to-day is like really important, and I feel like I spend so much more time like in the gym and running than most people. I really work my ass off. Fortunately not that many people get to really see that, but I put a lot of hard work into it, so it's nice that I can kind of now make some technical adjustments with those physical improvements.
For Floridian, your player's box is kind of empty. Where is everybody? Are your parents here? Or?
Yeah, I feel like we had, I had a rough go for a few years there, just reporting on everything in my personal life, and I'm sick of that. And at this point, I don't really appreciate sometimes the narratives that we get drawn into. And a lot of really positive interactions previously with my box, and a lot of great people supporting me. And unfortunately, sometimes the way things happen or the way things seem to appear get kind of like a mistold story. And then so we're just trying to eliminate the drama and keep it really simple, so that my life is not feeling like I have, am just like in this simulation theory where it's everybody's story. So, yeah.
For you, what do you draw inspiration from, today or nowadays for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of the hard work that we put in over the course of our career, we, most of us have been playing since we were 6, 7, 8 years old, and have spent so much time. This is a full-time job. And even when you're a junior, the way that junior tennis works and how you play 50 tournaments. I had a couple years where I literally played 50 tournaments, and I played over 100 matches those years, and the stress that not only puts on you, but your family. And my parents were working double jobs, and I remember feeling so bad if I didn't have a good tournament, or if I didn't play well, because I knew how hard my mom was working. I would literally work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and just them doing everything for me to be able to have the opportunity to come out here to earn a scholarship, to now play professional tennis. And so I think that's where a lot of my motivation comes from. My parents did everything for me as a kid to get me in an environment that was really positive and motivating, and in an environment too where you can succeed, but where you can also learn to accept failure. And I think the tennis teaches you so many incredible lessons. So without that experience, and without my parents, giving me or allowing me and driving me all over the state to play these silly junior tournaments, I mean, I have to give them so much credit, because I'm talking about having kids here shortly, and I don't know if we're going to be going to 50 tournaments a year. I don't know, and I'm in a lot different situation too financially, and I just so I think about those times a lot, and I think about it a lot with my dad. 85 years old now, he had me a lot later in life, and my dad used to get up with me at 5 in the morning, and we would go and practice. Who does that? It's pretty amazing, especially at that age. He could be doing other things and resting, but he wanted to be out there and help me and let me live out my dream.
Is that what you're thinking of when you're playing this tournament?
Well, I'm playing really well right now, so I'm pretty locked in and focused, but whenever I have a bad day, I'm this isn't a bad day.
It's
not that bad,
Do you think, because, you've said this is your last season, do you think now you're a quarterfinalist at Miami Open, do you think that's what's letting you play freely and sort of, there is an end in sight?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've had times where I've played freely and have played really great tennis, and I think a lot of it has to do with like the concentration and, you know, feeling like, okay, you've got momentum going from like previous weeks and playing lots of matches and not just coming off like training weeks. And like I think when you're playing a lot of matches, you feel like kind of that momentum, and you feel like you can settle into the matches a little bit better. So I think with all the matches that I've played over the course of this year, I mean, it's been more than I have done in some seasons. So I think that's really what's helping me the most, because, I mean, I don't really have much pressure on me. My parents are the type of people, too, like, if I worked at CVS or I was delivering pizzas, like, it wouldn't really matter. You know? Like, they would still be just as proud and would be supportive. I don't feel like, you know, I have to be, like, this, like, professional tennis player or, like, doing this if I don't want to, and I feel like maybe in a lot of ways that's helped me, but maybe in some ways if I, you know, had somebody that's like, you must play tennis, maybe it would, you know, I don't know, maybe it would light a fire under my ass. I don't know, you know, you never know.
Don't know if you're lacking
Right?
that. The motivation
Yeah,
is.
I mean,
I have a 9 and 7-year-old daughter who play a lot. It's always struggled. What's the best way to approach
I definitely don't recommend putting that much pressure on your child. Like, seeing it, like, you know, people and friends that have had those situations, I definitely don't recommend
I
that.
heard once that your dad had you playing with his friends a lot at like the park courts or something.
Yeah.
Is that what? Can you speak a little bit more about that and how that was different, or how that might have helped you develop as a player?
My dad, I mean, you know, I grew up, like, my mom was a preschool teacher. My dad had a small landscaping business. Definitely lower middle class, and so that's not like a prodigy professional tennis budget. Like, this sport is very expensive, and so they did everything they could and took me wherever they needed to, and I had a lot of free coaching and people that helped me. But you know, sometimes there were times that I needed to play more, and so my dad played in some of the city leagues and knew a lot of city league players, so I played against a lot of 4.0 and 4.5, 5.0 men's players. Probably like 9 years old. Yeah, and it's amazing like how many grown adults like signed up to play against such a like feisty like small child that's like
Destroy the 9-year-old.
getting upset. Yeah, so yeah, it's a very unorthodox way. And I also, you know, my dad also had me playing with like a wooden racket for about a year at one point. I think that was probably like age 9 to 10 as well. I was playing with a Niesel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this racket. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I hit the ball so clean, is because
It's a tiny sweet spot.
yeah.
Well, you've got that killer backhand. It's, I mean, just one of the most famous shots on the tour, I think. And is that developed a bit from playing those older, from playing men on, you know, bigger?
Well, I don't know if you've been to the parks, but a lot of those people lack quality instruction. No offense, but like a lot of those people like really lack quality instruction, and I actually think it's the opposite. And I was kind of like, well, you don't want to be hitting it like that, so let's get some footage of like Jimmy Connors and
Watch the
Tina
pros.
Hingis and like anybody else but
I'm
these
just
people
thinking
at the park.
if that was a stroke that you developed just sort of to win against bigger.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I would have to try to overpower, you know, the people that I was playing against, because, you know, I was a lot smaller and that was hard to do, so it was challenging. I think it definitely helped me. I don't think that tennis like needs to be a country club sport, and I don't think that, yeah, I mean, even if I have kids and they want to play tennis, they're not getting lessons like every few days. They're not, because that's not how you get better. You don't get better just through instruction. I'm sorry to like all the teaching pros that like, you know, charging an arm and a leg, but you get better by learning, by experiencing, by playing with other people as well. I feel like a lot of the kids, you know, they go out and there's a lot of feeding involved and a lot of technique, and really like tennis isn't about like all of that. It's about like trying to figure out how to win, be scrappy, be creative, and I think you get that through experience. So I do think my dad did a lot of great stuff.
This says one more. There's another UVA NCAA champion who's doing pretty well these days. Do you have a connection with her, a relationship with her? What? What do you?
Yeah.
What's your?
Yeah, so I mean,
Your bond with
Emma,
Emma.
I've known Emma for a few years now. We played, there was an exhibition event during COVID in Charleston. It was aside from like the Charleston tournament that we normally have because of COVID. And Emma was in the event. We got to play doubles together, like an exhibition doubles, before she went to UVA and got to know her a little bit through that event. And then obviously followed all of her success at UVA. And it was really fun to watch. And now super exciting that she's on tour and doing so well. I've, spent a bit of time with her too as a professional. We played doubles at the French Open last year. Hopefully get out there again and play some more doubles. But she's one of my buddies on tour that I talk to a lot, and passing and in the gym and in the locker room, and always striking up good conversation with her family and her coaches, and trying to support Emma as much as possible. Not that she really needs it because she's like really killing it and doing really well. But it's been really fun to see like another person from UVA doing so well, because I think Emma was a top junior ITF in the ITF rankings, and then decided to go to college. So I thought that was great, and it's just been amazing to see how her game has evolved since being like in high school and then now being a young adult, and just her maturity and confidence. It's a lot of fun, and her family, they're great people, and really enjoy them a lot.
Okay, great. Thanks, Danielle.